Hello? Yo, hello?
Hello? Is this thing on?
Yeah. Oh, hey, man. I just wanted to, quickly ask you, man, who's your top 5 strongest swordsman in One Piece?
Well, that's a good question. Number 1, Rooftop. 2, Ryuma. 3, well, I think we should make a video about that.
What's good, everyone? The duo is back today to discuss another One Piece matchup. Today, we are going to be discussing Zoro versus Oden and determining the stronger user of Enma and who would win in a battle. This matchup, in my opinion, is probably just as much of a hot take as Shanks versus Mihawk, as everyone believes Oden would slam Zoro due to having better control of Enma. However, upon further analysis, we believe that Zoro should have equal to, if not greater mastery of Enma by the end of the Rooftop fight, and in this video, we will be showing that along with why Zoro would just beat up Oden straight up. Now, before we get into the Zoro scaling, we should establish the power of Oden because he still is a goddamn monster, regardless of who wins this battle. Also, this would be the first time I'm technically talking about his scaling directly, because most of the time when I talk about his scaling, it's usually just people scaling above him, and this leads into people thinking I hate Oden, which is the exact opposite. Oden is my GOAT. Anyway, even before his battle with Kaido, we see him clashing with Whitebeard briefly, and then withstanding a divine departure from Roger. And before his encounter with Roger, during his time in the Whitebeard crew, it was said that he got many times more powerful, and then obviously when he departs with Roger, he would be getting even more powerful, which makes a lot of people believe Oden would just obliterate Zoro due to the fact that he just gets multiple times stronger, and also people consider scenes like this indicating that Zoro really isn't on Oden's level. However, the problem stems from Oden himself not even one-shotting Kaido even after getting multiple times stronger supposedly, and we even see in a flashback scene that they just briefly scrap with Kaido in base form. While it is noted that his hybrid form is more nimble and has a variety of attack abilities, making it a more well-balanced form, thus he uses it more often in battles, his dragon form shouldn't be super far off in stats. I was actually talking to Arrow about this earlier because I was thinking like the dragon form would just get dunked on by hybrid Kaido, but both forms are actually shown to hurt Gear 5 Luffy, along with the statement suggesting that Kaido hasn't even been pressed since his encounter with Oden and hasn't really had a challenging 1v1, and as we know, Kaido never used his hybrid form against Oden. So with this in mind, he'd upscale from the Scabbards and the initial Luffy and Co who fought Kaido round 1. We also know that he's considered in Kaido's top 5 of all time. However, take this statement with a grain of salt, as this is more than likely the 5 people who impressed Kaido the most and not likely the 5 actual strongest characters he's scrapped with, which a lot of people like to take this statement as, but it's honestly really inconsistent if we take this at face value.
Now, let's get into the Zoro scaling, which is way more simple than Oden's stuff. Zoro is able to tag and cut Dragon Kaido in base and force him to dodge swings, as he's literally seeing him as Oden, in this case when he's wielding Enma. Zoro then uses Asura, which allows him to not only react to, but block multiple swings from hybrid Kaido, and then outpace and scar his chest before Kaido can respond. Kaido goes on to note how he's tapping into advanced Conqueror's Haki. This Zoro was already weakened from having deflected the combined attack from Big Mom and Kaido, which, let's take a second to address that. There have been a lot of people in our previous videos saying that we exaggerated the idea that Zoro tanked or deflected the attack because of the statement from Kid about having been just a second. I'm not sure when just a second became a literal term, but let's break this down. When the attack is being prepared, Kaido asks Big Mom if she still has the strength to produce the attack, despite having seen her fight for an extended period already and even having fought her himself. This indicates alone that the two of them are, at the very least, not holding back when performing this attack. Second, we have the actual measure of time. We see in the manga and the anime the attack exploding outwards in a shockwave, along with the actual energy being forced to go around Zoro rather than hitting those behind him. That, by definition, is the attack being deflected. We also see that the attack lands and both Big Mom and Kaido have time to notice it's been blocked. Then we have a full conversation happen between Zoro and the people behind him. Then Law has to think and activate his ability. There is just absolutely, positively no way that this all happened in 1 second. And I think downplaying this feat makes it near impossible to actually gauge how strong Zoro is. We're not saying that he took no damage from it. What we are saying is that despite being hit by such a strong attack, he still straight up used his own strength to deflect the attack and continued fighting on after that, and even scarred Kaido while being at the very limits of his strength, which he then take further beyond, shown in his fight with King.
Now, before we reach our conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we want to address two arguments regarding this debate. The first thing that needs to be addressed is that Kaido is currently in his prime. This was stated by Garb, which probably makes sense, as usually when a top tier is implied to be out of their prime, this is pointed out directly. Plus, Big Mom and Kaido are explicitly threats in the Marines' eyes because not only are they at their peak, but they are also having an alliance together. It would also make sense, as Kaido was known for becoming a Yonko by just naturally climbing in strength, and I don't think Oden scarring him would stop that. There is also, when Kaido and Big Mom are preparing the Conquest of the Sea combo attack, he questions if Linlin got rusty, which Linlin says that she didn't. And again, the feats against Roger and Whitebeard don't matter because the Oden that fights Kaido is not only many times stronger than the Oden who performs these feats, but it's also the same Oden that I'm already showing Zoro being superior to. Which brings us to the second and last contentious point, that being the Oden self-proclaimed swordsman title. Now, some of you may be wondering, what am I talking about? And the statement that I'm referring to is in Oden's Viver card, where it's implied that he's actually the strongest swordsman around. The statement says that Oden's self-proclaimed title wasn't for show, meaning he's actually the strongest swordsman, and I think at best this would apply to people in Wano, since even after Oden's reputation was known, we have Mihawk, Roger, Whitebeard, and any character that scales to them upscaling from Oden. Like, people are just convinced Oden is Roger tier from this encounter, but these two didn't even go all out until they actually fought each other. I don't understand the argument, but at the same time, I can kind of get it if people want to push that whole new gen over old gen meta. But like, if you're gonna push that meta, do better.
In conclusion, Zoro and Oden would just charge at each other, with Zoro outpacing and scarring Oden like he did with Kaido. Only this time, it would just kill him. Like, Oden would be bisected, his upper half would fall off, and the fight would be over. The only thing that Oden would really have over Zoro is an easier time using Enma, arguably. But again, this is irrelevant when Zoro turns him into Swiss cheese after turning into the 9-armed god and having 3 Enmas versus his 1. So, you know, we're like the Goku and Vegeta of this shit. Except, you know, nobody's sucking up our energy. Bars?
What? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is Zoro versus Oden. If you have any matchups you'd like us to cover next, let us know down in the comments, and subscribe to Arrow's channel, which I will leave linked down in the description. And if you guys watched to the end, but you didn't have to cut me off, make it like that never happened, and then we were